Y'all, I am so excited. I made an HC feedback tool, which is in non-Minerva terms, an assignment slash essay feedback tool. And I'm so excited to show you this demo, which is entirely in the backend. And I can't show you the code because the criteria that was set by Minerva for our grading called HCs is unfortunately not open to public. But what I can show you guys instead is how I've approached this problem and how I've set up for more accessible and easy to follow demos. So in this demo, I'm going to be showing you how we're grading a specific criteria here, which is thesis. And so I'm going to be walking you through how the model, because these are two AI agents at work, are analyzing balloons each criteria given a specific like paragraph, for example. So hashtag thesis just makes sure or just ensures that the thesis you're writing is, man, I am exposing myself. It's just concise. Um, it's concise. It's relevant. Okay, I am gonna get a 1. But anyway, it's sort of a tool that we could use so we have a mental model on what makes a good hashtag thesis. Anyway, straight to the meat. What we have here, first and foremost, of course, are debug print statements. And yes, I know there is an actual logger, but I'm more comfortable with this for these for my level of capabilities. And so first we're just configuring the analysis model, check if the API keys are present, and then boom, successfully initiated. And then evaluation model, API key present, and evaluation model initialized successfully. So for this thesis feedback demo, I'm going to be showing you what the two models do in a bit, but for this demo, I even have an interactive like player start page. Anyway, weak thesis. This is a sample thesis. Climate change is bad. And I did some sort of abstraction to, again, not show the NDA stuff. But what I love about this approach is that I've sort of quantified it, like found a way to objectively assess a student's output because at least we all know that this is not specific to Minerva, but sometimes a professor's judgment is subjective. There might be some implicit biases that they are not aware of, same as to how we're not aware of how we didn't execute our thesis, right? But we can see how there is an overall score for the Minervans watching this. This one's just based on guided application checklist, and the pitfall score is just for common pitfalls when you're using the hashtag or HC. So general feedback, two components here. So before I go ahead, these like scores were provided by the an evaluation model because this model I'm really proud with how I have managed to code it, like just to give a bit of a demo how I configure up. Just to give you a little bit of context, the way the evaluation model is set is that it has an output token limit of 1 so that each time it outputs and gives AI gives an output, it won't consume as much tokens. And for context, I'm using Gemini here. The max output by default is 8032. So you can imagine how 1 is tiny, but it's enough to return a one word output. And not only that, but I reinforced this step by having the AI model use a schema of an enum class, which is, for an AI's perspective, basically a select drop down tool. Yeah, pass or fail, pass or fail. So even if it tends, especially with high temperatures, even if it goes off and say this is good, it can't do that because it's forced to choose between pass or fail. And of course, I've made the temperature 0.1 so that it has a deterministic output each time. Questions below. Anyway, general feedback. The thesis climate is bad. Change is bad. Is I can't speak English today. Unsubstantiated and far too broad. It lacks precision. doesn't specify how climate change is detrimental, and fails to hint at the supporting evidence. To improve, it's a high level overview. Mention the types. And so for the UI here, we have general feedback on top. And in the bottom, there's a checklist on how you can specifically change your section or paragraph to improve. And so a revised thesis should be more assertive and clearly lay the argument's direction. Is it manageable within your work's length? Even gets metacognitive here because it's zooming out, looking at the scope of the argument because climate change is broad. And then once the algorithm here, it'll be clearer for the strong thesis, is that it only provides that detailed line by line feedback or specific changes to those parts that failed, to specific criteria that failed. And I'm gonna be adding caching support later on so that when a student reruns it, it won't use as much resources. But for now, it shows you that, oh, failed for criterion 1. For debug statement, I think I should be showing, a bit of a description of what criterion 1 is, like XYZ, and then just truncate it, those triple dots. But for this one, we have change number 1. This is a checklist. From climate change is bad to this. From climate change is bad to this. And there's also a one-liner that talks about why. Why do we change this? And why does this change turn a fail into a pass? And so in the UI, you can expect a checklist. We have the box here, and we have the line here, change this into that. And then we have, before after actually, and then we have a little button here that when you hover over it, it's a tooltip and it shows the content for why. And so you can already imagine just assigning all these outputs. But then again, these like individual checklists, I know that AI can hallucinate or lose memory once the prompt is too long. So although this is a bit more computationally expensive, I made sure to only have each individual criterion checked and compared against the feedback on an individual level. So we have criteria number 1, check for it, and then return the output. And then a new API call is made, criteria number 2, and so on and so forth. Now that you know the majority of how this works, what we have now is a medium thesis, it's medium level, and just to give you something to be amazed, there's like 70 plus HCs, and so as a freshman it was kind of hard to digest, which is why this tool is gonna exist. But now we're seeing a bit of an improvement. Evaluation model's a bit strict, but now we have an overall score of 2. It's concise and relevant, but lacks argumentative depth and specifics. La 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 la. It's pretty good actually. And then now it goes to specific changes, add a specific arguable claim, from na 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 to na 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 na. And I think there's even a portion here where it specifically points to the text instead of just really saying from, then. Okay, maybe not. There we go. From will revolutionize patient care to will significantly improve patient care by enhancing diagnostic accuracy and efficiency. So revolutionize versus significantly. Questionable change. Anyway, strong thesis. Strong. This is Minerva's example actually, Minerva themselves. And so they claim that this, giving you 2 seconds to read. And from the strict evaluator's point of view, it's 66.7% there. So general feedback, greater precision, being very clear and explicit, and specific change. Why? From to, so where's the change here? As evidenced by. And this might be a feature, use regular expressions. Highlight which, because there's a lot of repeating here, which part was designed to change. And then add mention of evidence types. Remove the explanatory details. Huh. This one actually. Right, because one of the criteria specifies that it should be a single sentence. Be clear about your thesis. And so it actually points to this and removes it. And then strengthen the causal link. And so we have our final score comparison: weak, medium, and strong. Let me know what you think. And if it wasn't that clear, maybe you could, you know, get the transcript of this demo and then put it through this tool. But anyway, to other educators out there, what do you think of this? I'm gonna be back with an improved UI UX, and I'll keep building on this one because this is the fundamental functionality of our AI tool. But until then, you're gonna have to critique this for the future, right? Who knows? The next Nobel Prize winner is one feedback away. Have a good night. Buenos noches.